Oh, dear God. Okay, let's get it out the way. Job Bellingham. Now, you may have no idea what I'm talking about here, but my video yesterday, I did a video talk about Job Bellingham, one which I was quite happy about, and I did the entire video saying his name, Joby. Now, I would say I feel secondhand embarrassment, but I can't because it's me, so I just feel embarrassment. I have my reasons, okay? Number one, I don't live in England. I listen to Czech or Polish commentary for the last 5 years. When I watch any games that involve Sunderland, they pronounce his name Joby. I swear to God. Is that a worthwhile excuse before doing an entire video about a player? Probably not. But number two, because of Kobe Bryant, that kind of solidified that probably is how you say his name. Instead of Kobe, it's Joby. Jesus Christ. This is forever going to be held up against me for the rest of time. Of course, it's the summer and the Club World Cup is going on, and I may do a video about that in the next couple of days once I've given it, like, at least the first round of fixtures to kind of give my thoughts on it. But of course, the transfer window is now open, and I must say, congratulations to Trent Alexander-Arnold for being the fastest person in the world to learn Spanish. How long did he say he's known about this for? Like 2 months or something? Now, to be fair, as someone that is, you know, an Englishman living in a foreign country, I mean, I respect it. Can't be mad. Unless if you're a Liverpool fan, and then you think that he's been planning this for quite a while, which of course, why would he do that? And he did say also, you know, he's been waiting for this for some time, but then backtrack on that and says that it's actually not been a long time, it's actually been a short time. But anyway, transferring is going crazy. Now, I was going to do like an individual video about one of these players, and I realized that I kind of feel like it's worthwhile just kind of putting them all into one, because many of them match the same sort of situation. And also, I've kind of already done videos about most of these players in the past. Let's just put it all in one piece. These players in these videos are kind of at a crossroads in their career, in their Premier League career that is, because I'm predominantly a Premier League channel. So comment down below which player here you have an actual genuine opinion on, that you think they should stay, or which club they should potentially go to. There's some players here which I think is a real shame that it's not worked out in the way that we thought it was going to be. Like, subscribe, and of course, Mazzola Designs for the best football prints, all made by myself. Use code Vizeh for 15% off all items. Let's go. Now I'm going to start off here with, for me, what I'm most upset about out of all of these is Darwin Nunes. Darwin Nunes is very likely leaving Liverpool this summer. It's not really worked out since joining during the, what was it, 22-23 campaign, and there was the almighty Nunes versus Haaland debate for what was going to be Liverpool v City to win the title. And I mean, this year, he's not been particularly, like, atrocious. He's had his moments. For example, was against Brentford this year. He really came up clutch to get them some vital 3 points. And who can forget the year before with a 10-man Liverpool team coming back from behind to not score 1 but 2 goals to win the game at St. James's Park. Darwin Nunes has the potential there. He's got the raw athletic ability. He's just not really got the technical ability to match that athleticism, unfortunately. All the memes that come with Darwin Nunes, you know, Agent Chaos and all that, and the idea of him being a Ferrari being driven by a 5-year-old kind of examples. He's not been precisely, like, terrible. This campaign he's played 30 times, despite only 8 of them being starts, with 5 goals and 3 assists. He's, other than Brentford, he's never really had much of a chance this campaign, and if he has got given a chance, he's rarely really taken it. I don't think anyone will complain if Darwin Nunes leaves. I think it's about time that he should make a move. He's still 25 years of age. He's still got enough credibility to get a decent move in Europe. I can't see Nunes staying in England, so I can see him probably going to Italy or Spain. I think it'd be really good to see him in Italy, playing for a sort of Inter or Juventus. I think that can really suit him. So Darwin Nunes, if this is our time to depart, I'll love you forever. Speaking of sexy men with hairbands, we've got Jack Grealish. And this is just sad. It is important to remember here. Grealish was bought for like £100 million, which is of course the most expensive English player of all time. And it's hard to say that he's been particularly a failure because, look, they won the treble and he was a massive part of that team. But since then, it's been going down and down and down and down, and it looks like he's kind of just happy to be there. He played 3,500 minutes that season. The next season, he played 2,114 minutes. And this season he's played 1,005. It's not, you see what I mean? And you know what's bad? That for the Club World Cup, he's not even in the squad. And this is so sad because I remember so vividly how amazing he was at Villa. And during the European Championships, he was seen as the Lionel Messi of the England team. Constantly, the conversations was about Jack Grealish, should he start? And if he wasn't started, everyone was begging for him to be subbed on. This was Jack Grealish only 4 years ago, and he was seen as the saviour of England. Now, he is 29 years of age, so this is really maybe his last chance of a really good move. By no means is he past it or anything, but he definitely has lost a bit of what made him Jack Grealish. The complete freedom to take men on with no sort of, risk of losing the ball and being clipped on the back of the head by a slipper by Pep Guardiola. Jack Grealish never really got many goals for City. 3 goals in the league last season. 1 goal in the league this season. Of course, Jack Grealish's involvement in a team is more than just goals and assists, but it's just not looking good, mate. So, Grealish will be going this summer. I can see him staying in England. I just don't know who would take him. Of course, Villa's at the question. Would it be a Newcastle? Would it be a Spurs? Would he maybe go for something a bit more rogue and go for West Ham? I don't know. But I just want to see him play football and play football the way that we know he can. Now, let's go through Chelsea. There's many players that can be put in for Chelsea here. Number 1 here is Raheem Sterling, that you may be surprised to hear because you think he's at Arsenal, but no, he went to Arsenal on loan, which, if at any moment Chelsea is loaning a player to Arsenal, it may not be that seen as important. There was a moment near the start of the 2023-24 season when Sterling was exceptional. Thanks, mate, but his best performance was, I think, against Burnley. But Sterling had some very good moments for Chelsea when he first started there and had a bit more just enthusiasm, confidence in his play. And that's just completely been dragged out of his game, it appears. Now, by no means can he be a bad player. Sterling is a strange player, I think, because even when he played for England during the European Championships back in 2020 or 2021, he was involved a lot, he scored a lot of goals, and was never really once seen as the main player. Now, Sterling is 30 years of age, and there's no chance he's going to be sticking around at Chelsea. They've also got too many players there to begin with, so they need to be making a move. Sterling has not done well at Arsenal. He's not even scored a single goal in his 17 games in the Premier League for Arsenal, many of them being off the bench, granted. And when Sterling was brought on in those games to make a difference, he could have had that moment to, make something of himself for Arsenal, and it never really worked out. At times, there was the opportunity to bring him on the pitch. Arteta just opted not to. So Sterling is kind of in a similar position to Grealish, where they're both similar age. They've had a pretty poor 2 seasons, really. Just because Sterling seems to play for every single top club possible. City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. Honest to God, I would not be surprised if he ends up at Spurs. Sticking with Chelsea, of course, there's another forward in Christopher Nkunku, who there was so much hype about him. I remember when he first joined 2 years ago, and he's been put down to simply be seen as just a Europa Conference League player, which is just sad. Like, on paper, you may look at it and say, oh, but he's played 27 games in the league, so he's playing for them. But he's not really. Look at how many times he started for Chelsea. I think I counted all in one hand. Actually, sorry, I tell a lie. I'm a big liar. 9 times. I do apologize. Sorry, Nkunku, mate, if you're watching. And after all those games, the only team that he's actually done anything against was Southampton. Both games. And Bournemouth. Out of his 3 goals and 2 assists this year in the league, 4 of them was against Southampton. A goal and assist in both games. So if he just played in the Championship, it'd be amazing. Wherever Nkunku could go next, he's got the entirety of Europe, I imagine, that he'd be looking at. Probably over in Italy, I'll presume, or maybe go back in Germany, you never know. Now, the most obvious one here is Marcus Rashford. Now, this is not exactly cut and dry. Is there a world where Rashford could stay at Manchester United? Now, for me, if you're asking me personally, I would love to see a world where he is still a Manchester United player. Like, yes, it was cool to see him at Aston Villa, and I'm happy for him to kind of get that kind of experience, to feel that kind of love somewhere else. But I still think he's loved at United. I still think there's some hope for him there. It's all about Amorim and if he thinks he can get something out of him, which I still think you can. But it kind of feels all a bit inevitable that it's about time that the move is going to be made. In 10 league games, Rashford scored 2 times for Villa and assisted 3 times as well, and was quite big in their Champions League games as well. The performance against PSG for second leg, he ran the show. Even though they got knocked out in the end, they still won, and Rashford was a big part of that. So the question is, if he is to go, then where? Will he go back to Villa? Of course, he's got quite high wages, one that they can probably afford. Newcastle, of course, got Champions League football, so can you imagine him at Newcastle? I would quite enjoy seeing that, actually. There's also Evan Ferguson, which, for me, I find this almost depressing. How, I think it was a year ago that he was seen as one of the biggest, talents possible. He went to West Ham, and people wouldn't even realise that he was even there. 8 matches for West Ham since January. Of course, no goals, no assists. Ah, man. I remember not too long ago that at Brighton, I think he had a very good month, and then I was seeing, articles saying that it was worth the valuation of £100 million. He's likely gonna go. I would love, just because of the Irish connection, to see him at a team like Everton. I think that would be a perfect kind of place for him. And I hope that happens. So yeah, that's today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. I miss you, Nunes. Please don't leave me. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. See ya.